Kell Brook versus Sergey Rabchenko. In this video, I will discuss the key factors of this fight along with my own prediction. But before that, I want to ask you to do the same and make your prediction in the comment section beneath this video. Who are you picking? Are you picking Kell Brook? Are you picking Sergey Rabchenko? And how do you see this fight going? Let me know in that comment section. Also, remember to subscribe to this channel for more big fight predictions. So we've got Kell Brook taking on Sergey Rabchenko at 154 pounds in Sheffield this coming March. But first and foremost, let's be real. This is not a big fight. We've got used to Kell Brook in some huge fights in the last couple of years. But for me, he's using this fight to get back into the winning side of the column. You know, to re-energize his fan base with a hometown fight before moving forward to, you know, a potential much bigger fights. As I say, in the past few years, we've seen Brook take on the likes of Porter, Triple G, and Errol Spence Jr. Some huge fights, I'm sure everyone will agree. But in and amongst that, and on his run towards those fights, he took on a lot of poor quality opponents and a lot of average opponents. I mean, you just have to look at some of the people he defended that welterweight title against. You know, very, very bang average. And for me, Rabchenko, despite being ranked, falls within that category, okay? So as I say, he is ranked by some of the organising bodies, but I would say, so what? I mean, apart from the fact that that gives, you know, promoters and everyone else the ability to say this is a ranked fighter, you know, there's championship implications. When you're talking about the quality of opponents, being ranked does not mean that much in my opinion, okay? So, Sergey Rabchenko, you know, he's a tough fighter. He's big punching, come forward style. He's nice and tidy, but somewhat methodical. He does have some impressive stoppages, but he has lost the key fights that he's participated in that would have propelled him into, you know, bigger fights that would have, you know, left a lasting impression on the greater fan base, okay? But let's not mistake, a win here for Rabchenko would be pretty huge and would propel him to potentially a big fight, you know, with championship implications for him, okay? Right, but, you know, let's talk about Kell Brook. Kell Brook's tough, but is he damaged goods? A lot of people are saying Kell Brook is now damaged goods. In his last two fights, he has left with a defeat, and he's also left with, you know, some serious injuries, broken eye sockets. And what you have to say is that in both of those fights, Triple G and Errol Spence, he was performing quite well. You know, Triple G got the better of him, but, you know, there was elements of that fight where, you know, Kell Brook looked good. You know, he was getting his own punches off. It looked like he was potentially hurting Triple G. And, you know, if there hadn't been the injury, you know, it may not have gone the way that it did. You know, Triple G may have gone on to win that anyway. But, you know, the damage that caused obviously seriously reduced the output from Brook, and he deteriorated fairly rapidly towards the end before it was stopped. But then we look at the Errol Spence Jr. fight, and for me, you know, you look at the first half of that fight, the first 6 rounds, you get to the end of the 6th round, for me, Brook is winning the fight on points, okay? He's winning the fight on points, and then it started to go down. So, you know, he was performing well before these injuries. And what we need to ask ourselves is, you know, is he damaged goods? Are these injuries going to keep happening in every single fight? You know, if he's getting these injuries, facial injuries, that's not something that you can really protect yourself unless you are some kind of superhuman skilled operator in the ring, you know, like Floyd Mayweather, where you're never going to get hit. Pretty much anyone else is going to get hit. You get hit with big punches, you know, and you have you're susceptible to these sort of facial injuries. It's going to be a big problem. And we know Rabchenko, despite the fact that his caliber may not be that high, he has impressed in the past with some decent knockouts. Okay, so this is a worry for Brook. Okay. The fight is taking place at 154 pounds. Now we know Brook took on Triple G at 160 pounds, and for me, he looked fine at 160. I thought, you know, if anything, he even looked a bit bigger than Triple G, right? And then we saw him drop down to 147 to defend his title unsuccessfully against Errol Spence Jr. I thought that was a mistake personally. I thought he was going to struggle to get down to the 147, and you know, he looked very kind of gristly, very, you know, it didn't look right. Because for me, he's a bigger guy. He spent the majority of his career, you know, until recently at 147, and the fact that he's always been a huge welterweight, he should have been moving up some years ago. And for me, it would not surprise me if he has this fight at 147, at 154. In time, he ends up having more fights at 160 because he's big enough for 160, and he would not look too small against most of these guys. And you know, I saw an interview of him, I think it was about 6-7 weeks ago. I can't remember where it was, but he was being interviewed and it looked like there was the start of a double chin, right? So he obviously blows up considerably between fights. I can't remember if I remember there was an interview with Eddie Hearn before the Triple G fight, and they were talking about what he'd gone up to and the fact that he would not have a problem. I think they were saying like he was like 185, 190 pounds. You know, before going into the camp to get down to 160. So, you know, he's a huge guy, a very, very muscular guy. For me, I mean, 154, I mean, it will only benefit Brook, in my opinion, moving forward, okay? So this actual fight, for me, it does not go the distance. For me, Brook by stoppage, too big, too quick, too tough. And, you know, he'll figure out the rhythm of Rabchenko fairly easily. You know, I may be wrong, but I sense this could be a quite emphatic win for Kell Brook up at a bigger weight. And, you know, the odds for this fight would suggest that I'm correct. They've got Brook at 1-25 with Rabchenko a outsider at 10-1. That's a huge swing, and you know, Brook is the overriding hometown favourite to win this in, you know, fairly devastating fashion. And this leads to what happens next. A lot of people are suggesting that, you know, Brook wants to fight two-weight world champion. I think this is, you know, it's possible. I wouldn't put it past him. But for me, there's only one fight that I think happens after this, and you know where I'm going. We're talking about Amir Khan. He's got his comeback fight in a couple of months. At the time of me recording this, they haven't confirmed who this opposition would be. But for me, I believe that we will see Amir Khan versus Kell Brook later on in the year, whether it's at the end of the summer or towards the end of this year in the winter. This is the fight that would happen. At what weight it would happen, I don't think it will happen at 147. It's going to happen at 154 or possibly a catch weight just below it. But for me, you know, this is a fantastic fight, a fight that I would be seriously excited about. I would probably edge towards Khan, but we have to see what Khan is like in his comeback fight. if he's sold goods as well, you know, it'll be an interesting one. And you know, it depends on, you know, whether Brook is emphatic in this. He may struggle, you know, he may even lose. And I think win or lose, we may still see the Brook Khan fight anyway. So there you go. That's Brook versus Rabchenko. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, remember to click the subscribe button and tell me who you are picking, Kell Brook and Rabchenko. I'll see you in the next video.